Let's go. Yeah, I'm like an addict. Do I gotta have it? I ain't even.
All right, what's up, everybody? So check this out. Today we are out here in the garage, right? The Wreck Life compound, as I call it. But anyways, we've got our water. Thanks for sponsoring today's video. Water. Just kidding. This video has no sponsors other than myself. But all right, so check this out. This is a topic I've kind of discussed it before in the past, but here's the deal. These are kind of the top three things. Let's choose three things. Top three things you need to consider before buying one of these Yamaha TW200s. Now, if you're on the list, or if you're planning on purchasing a brand new TW200, or even a used Yamaha TW200, there are a few things you need to understand if you are a beginner rider and you are choosing the Yamaha TW for the beginner rider. Now, from my experience owning this Yamaha TW200s, both of these, not just this, but both of these, there's one thing that stood out to me big time. Now, here's the deal. I've got experience on motorcycles, dirt bikes, four-wheelers, you name it. I've ridden them all. The thing about that is, this is considered a dual sport motorcycle. Now, a lot of people I see have these. I've kind of compiled some information in my head, and the majority of people who have these either ride them on the pavement or they are riding them on smooth gravel, dirt roads. For example, I know somebody who doesn't necessarily like to take these on rocky trails, so they prefer to take a four-wheeler versus this on rocky stuff. Now, here's the thing I noticed, and this is the number one thing I've noticed, and you need to consider before buying the Yamaha TW200 is, if you're going to be riding on dirt roads are fine. If you plan on taking it off-road, rocky terrain, slightly rocky terrain, not just a smooth gravel dirt road you might find off in the country, but trails rather. It is slightly more difficult to maneuver this bike because of the fat tires than a skinny tired bike. Now, that's my observation because I've came from riding a KLX 250 and hopping on one of these recently without really riding one of these at all until like last year. So that was the number one thing I noticed is on dirt, this thing is a little more difficult to ride than a skinny tired bike. Still fun, still easy to ride. It's got the low seat height. You can't go wrong buying one of these, but just consider the fact that if you're going to be driving or riding a lot on dirt roads, I'd consider riding a skinny tired bike. So from my understanding, people keep commenting on Mom Street 83's videos and talking about the new KLX 230S, I believe. I don't know. But anyways, one of the Kawasaki 230s. The KLX specifically. I don't know the number behind the 230. But that bike would be slightly under the one that I have. But same thing. It's got a slightly lower seat height. Not as low as the TW. But in my opinion, if you were going to be buying this for your first bike, check out both of them. Check out the XT250. Check out the CRF 300L. Just do some research. Ride a few bikes. But here's the deal. You can't, when you go test drive a bike at a dealership, you're not really taking it off-road, right? So you're going to ride all these bikes on the road and you're going to think, these are all just fine. What is he talking about? Or what are some of these other people talking about? But there is a difference. Comment down below if you know what the difference. I'm more of an experienced rider, so coming from the KLX 250 to this, not a big deal, but that's just one thing I noticed on trail is it was slightly different to maneuver. My thoughts on that are it's just built different. So it's low, it's slow, it's thick, it's just not built like your typical other bike, any bike for that matter. Dirt bike, dual sport, this is completely different than all of the above. But it's still fun to ride. I'd still recommend you buying one. Just know that that's mainly my number one thing that makes it slightly different. Another thing that makes it slightly different is it is built differently. So the things you need to consider before riding is it is not built the same as your average dual sport. The ergonomics of the whole bike, the length of the bike, the height of the bike, the handlebars, the positioning, everything is just different. So yeah, you can customize this, you can buy handlebar risers, you can get all of that stuff. But you know, I'm not even gonna go to a third one because honestly, I can't really think of them. But my main thing was honestly just the fact that it is wider. You got the wider front tires, you got the wider rear tire, you got the wider seat. It just feels differently. So sitting on the bike, your knees are pushed farther out. It's just, I had somebody tell me one time that they felt more comfortable on the KLX 250 solely because of just the positioning of the bike. So where your hands sat, your seat, your knees were a little lower, not, you know, up a little higher. All that stuff just played a factor in the way and their thoughts on why they had an easier time driving the KLX 250 versus driving this off-road. Now keep in mind, this is all off-road, not on-road, and not on just a regular flat dirt country road, but powerline roads, dirt trails, little four-wheeler trails, mountainous type terrain. So anyways, I'm just gonna leave you with that as far as like my thoughts, but I'm curious of your thoughts. Now, this might cause some controversy because I know a lot of people are super in love with the TW, and here's the deal. I'm starting to fall in love with the TW, right? Now, I take that back, not in love. Let's call it, I'm going to add this bike to my friend zone because